Hi, this is Mekval, and welcome back to my adventures of the lost mines of Phandelver. This is session 2. Last time we left off where Gleep, the goblin, agreed to take us to Clarg, his bugbear leader. Before we entered, I decided to discuss with my party perhaps a plan that might benefit us and hopefully not result in bloodshed. I've always felt that if we could avoid bloodshed, it would always be in our best interest. So I gave my group 2 options. Option number 1 was that we could have Gleep go into the cave and take the goblins that were in there one by one out, and we could convince the goblins to either join us or to leave. Gleep had also told us that inside the cave there was many wolves, and we thought maybe it would be better to just worry about the wolves and the bugbear Clarg, rather than having to deal with goblins as well. The second option that I proposed was convincing my party to appear as our captives, the captives of me and Clarg. You see, I am a hobgoblin, another type of goblinoid. And goblins and hobgoblins do interact with each other. And for this reason, I thought it would be easy for me to pass as somebody that had captured our party. Orryn also had a magic spell, and that spell allowed him to create shackles, or to create the illusion of shackles. And we thought maybe this could get us closer to see where Sildar and Gundren are kept, and maybe get the drop on Clarg. Or maybe even sneak out with Sildar and Gundren without Clarg even knowing what happened. But alas, I guess, perhaps, feeling confident with how they dealt with the goblins from before, my group decided that they were probably better off fighting our enemies rather than trying to deceive them or outsmart them. Although I thought their decision unwise, I thought also that I was trained as a skilled paladin, and that I could offer them protection, and perhaps it would be a good idea for them to gain more experience in combat. So I agreed. We entered the cave, and shortly thereafter, we came across these wolves who were chained down. However, they did not appreciate us being there and made it well known with their growls. I tried to calm them. I thought I was succeeding, but they must have caught the scent of my companions, and again they were growling, and this time very aggressively pulling on their chains, and it felt like they were about to break their chains. Luckily, Gleep was able to succeed in calming them. At least we didn't have to worry about these wolves, as they seemed to be tamed. As we moved on, we discussed that perhaps it would be best if me and Gleep went to contact the goblin leader, or Gleep's group of goblin leaders. His name was Yimmick, and Gleep informed me that Yimmick wanted to be leader. And if we could convince Yimmick that we were here to get rid of the bugbear Clarg, and that he could be leader, perhaps he would join us and help us take care of Glarg. We also learned from Gleep that Glarg had a pet wolf named Ripper. So all the more reason to have Yimmick and his goblins join us. As I went with Clarg, I was able to convince the goblins to join us. However, they had Sildar, and they said that they would not release Sildar unless we defeated Clarg. I was actually hoping that Clarg could join us. And so I returned with the information to my party. However, my party, I guess, wished that I had asked more questions. I don't understand why. I accomplished what was needed. I was also a little worried by asking too much. Why have to fight Yimmick and his goblins when we don't have to? Isn't that a wiser, more noble decision? However, my group wanted more information. They wanted to know the condition of Sildar. So me and Gleep returned to Yimmick with our party, and you could tell that Yimmick was visibly uneasy with the presence of non-goblinoids. However, he still agreed that he would help us so long as we returned having defeated Clarg. And also, he would not allow us to get too close to Sildar. But we were able to observe that Sildar was not in good condition. He had clearly been beaten. So we devised a plan to ambush Clarg. To do so, we would send Gleep to bring Clarg and convince Clarg to come, saying that he had more captives. So nervously, Gleep went. However, I did pat him on the back for reassurance and confidence, and he came back. And we heard Clarg roaring. And as we hid in the shadows, Clarg threw Gleep into the room where Yimmick and his goblins were. And clearly, Gleep was very hurt. He had been knocked unconscious as a result of being thrown. And seeing that, I attacked. So did my companions. And before Clarg could do anything, Vola hit him with a devastating blow that put him out. However, Clarg did not come alone. He came with his pet wolf Ripper, and he also came with a group of 5 goblins. We tried to convince the goblins to join us, but it was very clear this was a different group of goblins than Yimmick's goblins, who I may add did very little to help us, although they did cheer when we defeated Clarg. We then decided to attack the goblins as they were attacking us, and attack Ripper. Ruven was able to convince one of the goblins to surrender after Orryn used a spell, I believe it was Ice Knife, and he was able to vanquish 4 of the 5 goblins while Vola smashed Ripper to smithereens. And Reverence, not wanting to take any chances, knocked out that goblin that had surrendered. We returned back to Yimmick and his group. Yimmick was very happy, and he kept his word and let Sildar go. I used Lay of Hands to heal Gleep, and my group healed Sildar. And I proposed Yimmick and his goblins joining us. However, Yimmick wanted to stay now that he was leader, and he didn't have to be bullied around by Clarg. And his goblins decided to stay with him. But luckily, Gleep decided to come with us. I feel a lot of promise in Gleep. I think he will make a great squire. When my companions searched Clarg's body, they found a javelin, which Vola took, and a morning star that Ruven claimed. We continued to explore the rest of the cave, and we came across Clarg's area of the cave. and we found a blue lion symbol. The blue lion symbol, of course, is a very well-known symbol which represents the merchant company in Phandelver. So clearly, Cleric and his group of wolves and goblins had been terrorizing and taking the merchandise of the Blue Lion Merchant Company. As we continued to explore, the Tibaxi Baast found a chest, clearly Cleric's stash, and within was a jade statue hand-sized hammer, 600 copper, 100 silver, and 2 potions of healing, which we stashed. We also found supplies in the cave, and Sildar ordered us to take the supplies out and take them back to Amos and the wagon, as clearly Phandelver could use these supplies, and we did so. However, we found no signs of Gundren, and Gleep had mentioned a spider figure and said maybe the spider figure had taken Gundren, but he didn't give us much more information, as he said he did not see the spider person. So we ended up making it to Phandelver, and on the way, Sildar informed us of what was happening in the area and what Gundren had been up to. You see, there was these lost mines, and within the mines there was a forge of spells where magic items were crafted. But several generations ago, orcs laid waste, and now Gundren had found an entrance, and this spider person that Gleep talked about, who Cleric had answered to, perhaps also found out about Gundren's find of the entrance, and perhaps that's why he had the goblins capture Gundren. So we reached Phandelver and we met Barthen, where we handed off some supplies and we talked about more about Gundren. He was a friend of Gundren's, and he was not very happy that Gundren had gone missing. And furthermore, he told us that Gundren had a couple of brothers that were looking for him, and I believe he had mentioned that they were at Cragmaw Castle, and that we should go looking for them, as he had not heard from them for a while. Maybe they could help us find Gundren. He also told us that there was a group of ruffians by the name of Redbrand that were causing trouble and harassing the people, and they could be found at the Sleeping Giant Tavern. And he requested that we do something about it. He also complained about losing business, as business had been slowed as a result of Cleric and his goblins attacking merchants. And I told him that he could go and make contact with my Rars tribe, that they would surely give him business. I even gave him a note indicating to my tribe that he could be trusted. I also asked Barthen to tell the town not to worry about Gleep. And the reason was Gleep, being a goblinoid, was very fearful of how he would be treated in the town. He had stayed in the wagon while we had come and explored the town of Phandelver. So Barthen agreed, and I hope that means that Gleep can join us without having to worry. We're also told that Amos and Sildar had gone to the inn. A curious thing happened while we were talking with Baardin. Orryn had deceived Baardin about Gundren's whereabouts. Now, I'm sure that Orryn did so because he was worried, or perhaps because he did not know Baardin very well, or appreciate or understand Baardin's relationship or friendship with Gundren. And he meant well, but Gundren did not take it well. And Orryn was trying to look for something to purchase from Baardin, but Baardin would not lower the price. And although we left, I'm wondering if I could go back and have a word with Baardin, because had he known that Orryn deceived him to protect Baardin's friend Gundren, I'm sure he'd be more willing to treat Orryn a little bit better and offer him a deal. Anyways, that is where we will end for now. And I hope you join us for session number 3. Until then, I will see you next time. Take care.